What do you guys think of my background choice? Very lush, very green. Not too busy, but got some interesting little details in here. Swaying grass, swaying flowers. Oh, look, there's an egg cluster over here. Yeah, the format, yeah, the Wingspan format's gonna be best of, or it's best of one, 3-player free-for-all. Alright, so let's look at our opening hand here. Black-bellied whistling duck. Discard 1 to tuck 2 from the deck behind this bird. That's actually a pretty powerful effect. It's not super powerful in the wetlands, though. There's a version of that card that you can play in the grasslands. I think it's the Canada Goose, actually. That's really good. Don't think we're interested in that. Ruby-throated hummingbird. Each player gains 1 food from the bird feeder, starting with the player of your choice. So a little bit of acceleration, but it helps. It's symmetrical. It helps everybody else, so it's not super good. It is a cheap bird, though, and our round 1 goal is total birds. So with the cheap bird that can be played with any resources, it could mean that we can take more advantage of the fact that this is helping all the players. That combined with like wooded warbler, so we could put both of these in the forest, and then we have a really good forest action that's gaining us a lot of food, which is nice. That can maybe potentially get us first place here. Eggs in the grasslands is something we'll have to... We're not really well set up for that as is. Matter of fact, our hand isn't well set up for any of these goals, so we're going to have to draw into things that help us achieve these goals. And Clark's Greed can do that since it is a draw card, and it goes in the wetlands, which improves our draw action. It's also quite cheap. And a cheap 5-point bird that's also got a wild nest. Like, basically this counts as all nest types. I think that's pretty valuable. So I think this is definitely one of the cards we want to take. Let's look at our secret goals, though. We're looking for birds that eat fish, or birds that eat berries or fruit. Those are the choices we have. Well, we already said that we want to keep this bird that eats fish. We also have another one in hand. And this is actually a tempo card. It gives us a free action if we can set up for it. So that's actually not bad. We might actually want to keep that with this goal. I think this is the goal we're taking no matter what. Let's look at what the starting lineup is as well in the among choices here. Tuck a card from your hand behind this bird. If you do, gain 1 from the supply. That's pretty good. Using our extra cards and turning them into food isn't bad. It's kind of expensive, so it's probably not something we're going to play turn 1 necessarily, because it takes a lot to fuel this, but this extra food source can be nice. Woodstork's probably too expensive. We don't care about that. Cassin Sparrow, not particularly strong. Kind of works well with these 2 goals in the middle here, but I think we can find other birds that help us do this at some other point. This wouldn't be awful. The question is, do we want to waste our first turn drawing this card? How realistic is it that we're gonna get to play this and then also use it relatively soon? Because it seems like we're so far getting set up to do a forest and wetlands game. So maybe that's where we want to go. Yeah, okay, let's do this. And I think our starting food sources are going to be these 2. And I already selected that. Okay. What? It said I had 30 seconds left on the clock. Okay, then. I guess I have to make my choices a little faster than the clock suggests. Am I crazy, or like, I swear it said we still had 30 seconds left. Alright, I guess we'll make our choices faster? Jeez. Like, it locked in our choices and then moved on to the next player's turn, and then it just, like, said, nah, bro, you don't get to play this game. Okay. American Crow is a great versatile card. Done. Gonna keep it no matter what. We need birds in the grasslands, birds with that kind of nest, birds that eat mice. Barn Owl helps with all of those. We need this type of card and this. So this seems pretty good. It's also easy to play. Yeah, this is looking like a grassland, wetland type of hand. 2 points per bird with mouse symbols in them. The Barn Owl is 2 points already. Not a lot of cards have that though. Could do this. We don't have any birds that do that. I like mice eating birds though. They're fun, so let's just go with that. Oops. Select. Select. I think that's good enough. We might want this guy. A cheap way to improve our grassland action early with the American Crow. We want another bird in that area too. I know I just said I wanted to take the mouse bird, but maybe I just need a lot of good food early. It actually just might be this. And then we go with... We try to just draw into some better things. We can draw into mice-eating birds. Yeah. This is probably not going to end up being worth more than 4 points anyway, so let's just go with this anyway, even though I don't think I'm keeping the Barn Owl. This way I can play both these birds on my first 2 actions and then immediately go into an American Crow action. To start getting more food. I don't know. Maybe I'm still supposed to pick this. He doesn't gain that much food that easily. It's iffy. There's also 2 mice in the bird feeder already, so... Black turn's a good turn 1 draw as well, so that's giving us a lot of cards. So maybe I actually don't need this gull. What's your nest type? Star, which is nice. We're not the first player, so we might not get first crack at that. Okay, that's fine. I think I'm just gonna pick this. Yes, maybe. Barn Owl. Barn Owl effect is not great. Alright, let's do it. We'll do the overview for the first few turns. Maybe not. Maybe we wait for our players to make action. We just look at our beautiful background in the meantime. Can I turn off those tooltips? I definitely don't need that. I guess not. Doesn't look like it. I'm still salty I got kicked from that game. Not gonna lie. I don't know, that's clearly like a server syncing issue, because it said like we had 30-something seconds left. And then we get kicked. I mean, the main thing is that like it let us make our choices. So that means we should have had time left on the clock, and then it just kicked us right immediately after anyway. It's funny. It looks like our opponent might get the same treatment here. Maybe we'll get the 1v1 game after all. I would have to assume this replaces it with an AI if that happens. Let's check out everyone else's habitat. Oh, our Puffin player is playing the same habitat as we are. This person is playing on the board that we were playing last week, I believe. Okay, so why do they get more time? Right before we started playing Wingspan, there was a post in the Wingspan Discord channel that they were doing a hotfix for something, and basically it was a fingers crossed we don't break anything else further. So this might be a result of what they did. I'm gonna look at. Give me a second here. I'm gonna look at what they said. Yeah, they said that they were fixing a timeout issue, but that there certain timeout issues could still exist. So let's just exit this game then. Technically, the game is still going on in the background. Like, we could rejoin it. Oh, looks like this. Like, it says that this person is still waiting to do their turn and there's only a minute left. I guess we'll wait. Oh yeah, it looks like they were given another minute or something. I guess we'll wait. Sorry guys, like I really was hoping that this would go smoothly like it did last week, but I guess they're trying to patch up some weird bugs that people have been experiencing, and now they've broken their game. But hey, just lay back, relax, listen to the soothing music. It's a Friday. It's gonna be a great weekend. You had a hard week, I know, but it's finally over and you can just sit back, relax, reconnect with nature. Share this peaceful moment with your winged friends here. The American Crow and Ring-billed Gull. Hey, look at that. We got a turn. Alright. Two birds. He played Mississippi Kite. What do you do? Roll all dice not in the bird feeder. If any are gain blood. Okay, gotcha. Played like a Predator. Predator? I was going to say predatory power, but... Wingspan ASMR when I'm gonna need like a big donation, and maybe I'll consider it. I'll take a feather and brush it up against the microphone. Just gently caress the microphone with this feather. Okay. So we might want to start with the ring-billed gull so that we can start drawing cards the following turn, if it makes sense to. Wait a darn second. Where is our third resource? The game... What? We should have 3 resources in our hand. There it is. Some weird bugs. Okay. Yes. Gull first. Doesn't really matter what we use.
Ring-billed gull. These gulls steal food and eggs from other birds and scavenge at garbage dumps.
Yeah, well, I'm familiar with that. Face cam when? Maybe before the end of the year. Maybe I look for like some deals on cameras for Black Friday, and no later than then. How about that? I'm pretty confident that I'm gonna search for some deals for several pieces of technology that I'm hoping to use for streaming. I'll keep the rest a mystery for now, but because it's not 100% confirmed, but I think a camera for sure is something I'm going to be buying by Black Friday, but could come before then. Face cam is definitely one of the goals to add to this stream for sure. So we do want to get birds into the grasslands if we can help it to achieve this goal. This round 1 goal. We're gonna be placing the American crow there because the grasslands gives us eggs, and the eggs will fuel the American crow, which will activate when we get the eggs if we put him in that same habitat. So if he's for sure going in here. The other thing we might want to do is we might want to start drawing more cards to find other things we'd like to pair with him in that habitat. So we could, for example, draw cards with this power, which would then activate the ring build goal, which will let us draw more cards, filter through the deck. Oh, we have to tuck. Oh, whoops. I didn't even read this. I thought this was the draw a card, discard a card power, but you have to tuck to draw a card. That's fine though. We basically turn our bad cards in hand that we don't want into points and other cards. So that's fine. Well, it looks like someone drew the cheap, the turn that we were thinking about getting because, yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good card. I like Bell's Vero here. It's not only something that we could put in the grassland to help with this, it's got a star nest that could help with this. And, well, hopefully we can get one set of eggs. This is the one egg in the web. I don't know, one egg in the gotcha. All right. This one means we want to be diverse. So I actually don't mind maybe drawing something cheap to put in the forest to make our food action better, since the American crow, like, it's fine. It's just not fantastic. Crow, where'd you go? There you are.
American crow. These intelligent birds steal eggs and food from other birds and cache food for later.
Well, these two are like brothers in arms then, right? They're both egg-stealing bastards. We're the egg-stealing tribal deck. Egg-stealing deck. So next turn, our action's probably gonna be create 2 eggs, lay one here, actually lay both here, kill one to gain a food, and then the following turn we're going to use that second egg to draw 2 cards, probably discarding one of them to the ring build gulls activation and drawing another card. Depends on what we see. If we like both our draws, we'll keep both of them. But yeah. Right now, I'm kind of debating if we want to get Bell's Vireo, because it can go in our forest to help us later try to get better sets of eggs. So that might be what we do. It's also a pretty good power as well, giving us another bonus card to early to strive to help us inform what kind of birds we want to be keeping. But could also see us drawing just two blind from the top. Okay, so the Vero is still available. I guess we have 2 more actions. We got 1 more action to take though before we know if it's. I think we'll take an insect. Although we are trying to look for birds that eat mice, so maybe we're taking them. We're gonna need more than 1 food though. This is a safe bet. These are the most common food types. We're already looking at the Bell's Vireo, so let's just take the insect as our food. Yeah, this might end up being an awkward game, because all the while we're doing this, we would really like to find birds that eat mice for our rodentologist goal. Okay, interesting. So our opponent, the previous turn, played... So our player 1 played a predatory power, and player 3 played a card that will also succeed every time that predatory power succeeds, so that's kind of interesting. It's also a star nest, so that's very good for them. It's very versatile in the grasslands, so it helps them with this first goal. That's a pretty good play, I think. And little do they know, we are looking for birds that eat rodents, which tend to have predatory powers, so they might actually get quite a bit of value off of this card over the course of the game. Definitely a good play for them. I'm gonna keep it in this mode for now. Maybe not. This is just way more relaxing. I think there's a way to turn off the display so you can just see the background. Am I wrong about that? It's O, show hide interface. Doesn't seem to be working. Oh well. Oh, it might be whenever this is up. Yeah, it's whenever this. Okay. Alright, so we're drawing cards, and we're discarding an egg to draw a second. So do we want the Vireo, or do we want 2 randoms? I think we can draw 2 randoms, and if one of them is like really not that great, we'll just discard it to the Gull's power to get a Vireo. Okay, Green Violet Swallow, basically the same power as our Ring-Billed Gull. We probably don't need another one like that. Red-Eyed Vireo is nice. That should pair well with Bell's Vireo. We got that synergy. We got some Vireo Tribal going on here too. We got Egg Stealers and Vireo Tribal. Okay, I like that. Discard you. And then we'll get the Bell's Vireo. What did it get replaced by? A common Yellow Throat. 1 cost... Wetlands card, Bowl Nest, draw 2 if you do discard 1. See, that would have been something we probably would have really liked to play here on our turn, because it would have been 1 food cheaper and have a little bit better filtering effect. It's not worth as much, it's only worth 1 point, whereas our boy the Ring-Billed Gull here is worth 4, but still. Hey Devil, sorry I'm just seeing your message now. Welcome, welcome. I'm just so focused on the birds. I'm just so chill, just listening to this relaxing music. Anybody, any of you viewers, I got a lot of messages last week saying that after seeing me play this game, a lot of people were interested in trying it out themselves. So have any of you actually taken the plunge and tried Wingspan out? It's not a CCG, but it is a card game. It's a bird-themed card game. So you buy the game, you get all the cards, and you play it like it's a tableau building game. I don't know if that terminology means anything. It's not quite a deck builder. Tableau builder. So everyone's drawing from the same set of cards, and you're hoping to build a better tableau with better synergies and powers and points than your opponents. I just realized that both of these Vireos are Wildness, which is kind of nice. So that works for the round 3 goal. So we probably don't need to go out of our way to find this nest type anymore for this game. Granted, it's only 6 eggs maximum that could be going between all these things, but still, it's pretty good. Baltimore Orioles, expensive, but he's worth a lot of points. Also a star nest, but everybody gets a berry. So, it's iffy. It's a nice endgame card, though, because of how much points it's worth. So, it might be something we work towards. So we have 4 more actions left. I feel like 2 of those actions for sure are going to be laying eggs, gaining food with some of those eggs. Then we're going to play these 2 in the forest. And then our 4th action's either going to be using some of those extra eggs we have left over to draw more cards, or we might just get more food since our forest action will be upgraded. Will be twice as powerful once we put these 2 birds. I'd like to put them in the grasslands since that's the goal, round 1 goal. And this Vireo can go there, but this red-eyed Vireo cannot. And this red-eyed Vireo, we need to play it in the forest so we can then play this in the forest as well and essentially play 2 birds with 1 action. 2 birds with 1 stone, or 1 action cube in this case. I think that's where we want to be. Someone drew birds though, so let's see what they left behind. I don't think, yeah, this wasn't here before, so we now have a spoonbill out. That's okay. This might be a good draw, actually. If we end up having to draw more cards with one of our actions anyway, we might do it early and snag this since it's a cheap bird that can go into the wetlands to help us with this goal. Speaking of goals, where's everyone else on this middle goal? Everyone's got 1 bird in that in the grasslands. Okay. Well, our next 2 actions almost certainly are going to be gaining eggs and food, so let's just do that. Whoop. And we need... Well, no. We'll get this for sure. So now we can afford to play the Vireo. We now need to get 1 more food to be able to play the red-eyed Vireo as well. And the food can be either an insect or a fruit. Promo code of Wingspan when? I don't know. When I become the premier Wingspan streamer on Twitch, maybe the developers will give me some promo codes. I can ask, but you guys gotta either like tell all your friends to watch the Wingspan streams, or maybe just like make my YouTube videos really popular. Man, maybe they'll give me some codes. I'd love to give codes out to people. But if you are interested in the game, I'd consider purchasing it. I think they had a launch promo for 10% off up until recently. I'm not sure if it's still going on, but the game's pretty affordable. I think it's only $25 on Steam, and considering the original board game costs $70, I think it's a pretty good deal. For how polished this game is and how polished they will continue to make it. I know we had some hiccups at the start of the stream, but that's just because they're trying to tweak things and improve them and play around with them. Last week, everything went buttery smooth. So I would take that as a sign of where this piece of software is going to end up. I'm very confident this is going to be a very smooth, clean game interface, etc. Peter 221A thinking about his plays. Well, that's interesting. Why did it go? Oh, it only shows the player names when you go there. It's not going to tell me who's who. I guess I can go here. Genesis Timer, yours truly, and Peter 221A. We're all tied for the round 1 goal. If we got a 3-way tie, I'd be perfectly fine with that, because it's a good chance we're not going to get more than 1 bird into that habitat. It's possible just to try to snag the 4 points, I play the Bell's Vireo and then forego the Red-Eyed Vireo and just look to activate its power on another bird in a following round. We might do that. Just so we can stay in contention for first place. We probably still won't get it even then, but if we get tied for first place, it could be worth it because it's worth it makes this Bell's Vireo worth an additional 2 points in that case. And also means that we take away 2 points from another opponent, so. Favorite kind of bird? I mean, I am really partial to owls. I love owls. I think they're really cool. I think that'd probably be my answer. So, no one else is playing birds in their in the middle habitats still. Only us. We're the only ones who've done that so far. Okay. Still think we're gonna go eggs, discard 1 for food, get a berry. We could still draw cards though. We're probably almost certainly drawing cards at some point this game, but maybe they improve our action here a little bit. Probably don't have enough time to play both I probably don't have enough time to play 2 birds in that habitat, eh? We're probably drawing cards at some point in this game anyway, so let's just draw cards now and see what our opponents do. Oh, we have 2 action cubes left? Is that what that's saying? That's fine. Oh, I definitely want to do this, though. Probably the Skimmer for next turn. It's yet another card that works well with this. It's a card that goes in here, so that's probably the one we want to keep. So I guess we'll discard the Wren to that thing's power, and then maybe it's time to draw this common Yellowthroat. Is that something we're gonna play? It'll really let us churn through the deck very, very quickly. So we can hopefully find more rodent-eating birds, which would be nice. Sure. Whooping Crane got revealed. Three wild, 6. Wow. It's hard to see because it's being covered here, but there's some fungus growing in that tree over there, some over here as well. Right underneath this bird feeder, which, what the heck is that in the bird feeder? Maybe I don't know bird feeders. Oh, I guess it's a seed ball? Maybe that's what that's supposed to be? This makes me want to, like, this music and this scene makes me just want to, like, be laying back on a dock by the river, drinking a beer, sitting in a nice, comfy Muskoka chair. This might be the last weekend I get a chance to do that. Summer is quickly coming to an end in the region I'm in, Eastern Ontario, Canada. 2 turns left. So what do we see here? Cassin's Finch, not a bad card to pair with our Red-Eyed Vireo, should we get that chance. Let's see where the other opponents stand as far as that middle goal is concerned. So, player 1 only has 1 more action left, so unless they've been caching a lot of food, which they have not, at most they can get a second bird in that habitat. Our third player opponent has no foods to speak of, and they have 2 actions left. So at best, they're also probably only going to get to play 1 bird in the middle territory as well. So that safe line we took earlier about possibly saving the Vireo for the middle row, I think we were rewarded for that. So I think if we play this here, we're guaranteed to at least tie for first. Nope, I don't want you to go there. But it's possible we will even get first place with just 2 birds in that. You don't have enough eggs. Oh, okay, that's fine. We have to lay eggs first. We have 2 actions left, so we can do that. We will go... Nope. Let's do this. Actually, just in case, we'll just do this, like I've been doing. We'll lay, we'll discard 1 for food. We'll go ahead and get another insect, because we can either use it to play this or this the next turn. So we'll see what they do, but we're almost certainly playing Bell's Vireo in this habitat next turn. We're going to spend 2 of our 3 insects plus this 1 egg, which is just enough to get it in here, and possibly make this card worth 4+ points, essentially, which would be very nice. We don't really have like the greatest... We don't really have a great point engine set up in sight anytime soon, and we're not even really sure to make this rodentologist very worthwhile this game, so goal sniping might be the way we win this game. If we can get enough like really great points in the early game, and also might hopefully get like really decent points in the late game as well, that might be enough to push us into a position where we can win this. Normally I'd be like really interested in what our opponents are doing as well, just to see like what they're doing and what we should be trying to stop, but this opponent has Common Raven, is one of the most powerful cards in the game. They're going to be really tough to stop, as far as like, at the very least, they're going to have access to a lot of food and a lot of eggs, which means a lot of birds. So they're going to be tough to beat, because they're going to be playing a lot of expensive birds. Because this next goal actually cares about number of birds, they might be able to get that. So that could be really tough to beat. Other than that, they don't have anything really like significantly special going on quite yet. Same thing with our third player. They're kind of in about the same spot we are. We're about to play a card very similar to the Woodstork to get a second bonus card that we can work towards. This black build Magpie, not looking as useful for them as it was at the start of the game, because now our Puffin player here is incentivized to gain food via this action instead of this one now. So the predatory powers are not likely to activate very many times. He could have gotten value off of this in the meantime, though, and I just didn't really see it. That's between those two. I don't think the game would inform me if this was triggered and was giving him free food. I think it's supposed to, though. I think one of the changes they made, one of the updates they brought to this game, was it would inform you every time a pink power activated. And a pink power are the once between turns powers. They activate as a result of other players' actions. So brown powers activate when you activate the bird. Typically when you activate the habitat that bird is in. Pink powers activate as the result of other player actions. When played effects, white or blank effects just happen once when they come into play, and then there's some birds that just have no effect at all. And those are kind of the 3 or 4, I guess, types of effects that birds can have in the game. What did our player 3 do on their turn? Looks like they just laid eggs. They laid eggs, but they don't have any... Did they lay eggs? What did they do? I think they laid eggs. Maybe they drew cards. They still don't have any resources, so they're definitely not in contention for this middle thing. Yeah, okay. Laid eggs, draw birds. So we get a guaranteed first place for this this round if we just play this here. Why does it keep insisting that it wants to go there? There you go.
Bell's Vireo. John Graham Bell taught taxidermy to future U.S. President Theodore Roosevelt.
Fascinating. So we have, let's look at the birds we already have. The Bell's Vireo is a star nest. The Red-eyed Vireo is a star nest. We're possibly playing this common yellow throat. So all three of those birds work towards this goal. So that's nice. Birds with wingspans over 65 centimeters. So the crow is like that. Our Bell's Vireo is certainly not. The gull is. The skimmer is. And these other small guys aren't. But birds that eat rodents tend to be that big. So do we want to go all in on the trying to find these predatory birds? And other birds too, obviously. Yeah, I mean, if we're trying to make this work, it should help us get to this anyway. We already have 2 and potentially a third bird that works with this. We only start getting points at 4 though. And it's more likely that we're going to play the other ones for this, so it's tough. Predatory birds tend to have platform nests, so they won't help us with this, but any star nests would. And this is worth more points ultimately. Yeah, it's a tough one. Rodent-eating birds tend to be pretty big though. Let's just go for the synergy. I think that's what we want to do. So yeah, unless I missed something, it's impossible for our opponent to take first place away from us for this goal. So we're gonna get 4 points. They're gonna tie for second, which means they'll get no points because it's a round down system. So you add second place, you would add second and third place together, which is 1 total. Have it rounded down. So 0 points for our opponents for round 1. And we're already... I think we have a decent number of birds in hand already that we can be in contention for this goal, and I think we're in pretty good in contention for this. Gonna be hard to beat our common raven opponent for this one, and possibly even this one, depending on the birds that they find throughout the game, but we'll see. We're definitely going to fight hard for those goals because it's one of the main... I think that's one of the main ways we're going to win this game is getting a lot of end of round points. So let's start thinking about our next turn. We're going to see a reset of the display here. So depending on what we see... Maybe we open our turn, and we are going to be first player next turn, so maybe we open our turn with drawing cards, especially if they help us towards these goals here. Yep, there we are. We got first place. First place, 4 points. Alright, so let's look. No fish eaters. 1 bird above 65 centimeters. Not something we're interested in playing, I don't think. It's good. It would be... That's something I think our Puffin player might be interested in getting, because it is expensive, but it's worth a lot of points, and they have great ways of generating food. So they're probably eyeballing this shoveler. Makes me think we want to almost take it away from them if possible, because I still wouldn't mind opening our turn drawing cards here, ditching something we don't want. But if we're going to open with that, we probably want to start by playing something into our first habitat here. Unfortunately, we're out of eggs. So we can't just start by playing this common yellow throat here, even though we have the food for it. We do need an egg still to play in our second row. And then we can start drawing even more cards every turn. So that's probably something we want to do. We're probably going to look to get a wetlands bird, at least one more wetlands bird into the bottom row before we start drawing more cards for the round, which means I think we're going to start then our turn by laying eggs and getting food. We might actually do that several times and see if we can get 2 birds in there before we start doing it, but that might be a little too slow. So let's start with this. We'll lay 3 eggs. We want to lay them on anything but the American crow for now, because the American crow explicitly says you have to discard from other birds, so not it. And gain 1 from the supply. Well, we have this, what we need. If we're interested in this, we might want that. If we actually end up finding rodent birds, we might want this. So maybe we take a little bit of a speculative play and take that. I don't know that I'm going to end up playing this black skimmer. It's tough to say. I guess there's always a chance we do, and maybe I should take this fish. He's worth a lot. Like 6 points for 2 food is decent, and it also works towards 2 goals this game, so yeah, maybe that is what I take. Oh, plus he's a big bird for this. Yeah, I think we try to play this guy. Maybe the predatory power activates and we get some extra points. So his power, roll all the dice not in the bird feeder. If any are fish, gain a fish and cash it on this card. So when you cash food on a card, you cannot spend it towards your other birds, but it counts as a point towards the end of the game. But so this 6-point bird could end up being worth, 7, 8 or more, depending on how lucky we are with our dice rolls. But it's primarily just a solid, 6-point bird for relatively reasonable price. That's also helping us towards 2 goals for this game. We're definitely going to want to diversify. It's kind of an interesting set of goals we got for this game because it's demanding we play birds in 2 things. We also want to diversify, so essentially we need to make sure that we have ways of playing birds in the forest as well, and this Red-Eyed Vireo is going to really help us with that because it's going to let us accelerate a little bit more, get 2 birds in 1 action up in this area, and hopefully we can match the number of egg symbols across all habitats and just start going egg laying crazy in the final round and get as many sets as we can of eggs. Not only are the eggs themselves worth points at the end of the game, but if we can get first place in this goal, it's another 7 points. So after our next turn, I might, if we know what we're doing and we don't have to think about it too much. We'll see. We'll see what our opponents do. He's drawn birds. He's laid eggs. So this didn't really change much. Purple Gallinule. Gallinule. I think that's how that's pronounced. Nice bird if we already have it in hand. I don't know if it's worth drawing necessarily. Well, it's also very expensive. Hello, why is that disappearing? This might be another lay eggs, gain food turn, and then I think our next 2 turns after that are just gonna be play, and then start drawing cards. We gotta find. We're looking for, ideally, if we can hit all 3, we need a forest bird that eats rodents, and is 65 centimeters wingspan or more. That's actually not that hard. If we find a bird that satisfies one of these two end game goals, there's a good chance it can satisfy all these other conditions as well. But yeah, we'll just... That bird's full. Birds can only lay so many eggs. We'll get another fish. And that's it. While we're waiting for our next two opponents to make their turns, I'm going to take this opportunity to go get some water, and I'll be right back. I have returned. This is definitely a kick up your feet and relax kind of game. It's kind of nice, actually. Especially after the week I had. I was definitely looking forward to just relaxing playing this. It's kind of a long game already though, huh? We're only like part of the way through round 2 and we've been streaming for 52 minutes or recording this game for 52 minutes. I guess the first 10 minutes were us struggling to get into a game, to be fair. So I think our next 2 turns are pretty well locked in. We're gonna play Black Skimmer, Common Yellowthroat into our wetlands, and hopefully that puts us in contention for first place for this round's goal, playing birds in the wetlands. And then we're gonna start drawing cards. We're gonna have the birds filling these 2 spots, which means this is the action that will be activated. Play you first.
Black skimmer. Skimmers plow the water with their beaks, snapping shut when they hit a fish.
Sounds like me when I go swimming. Har har. Yeah, so we'll have 2 birds. The next bird, the yellowthroat's going to cover this action, which means this is where our draw cards action will be at. And since we've been drawing so many eggs, or laying so many eggs, I may as well on our first draw cards turn, we're definitely going to discard 1 egg to draw 3 cards, looking for things that help satisfy our goals. And then the common yellowthroat will activate, which draws another 2 cards, one of which we'll have to discard. And then there's a good chance one of the cards in our hand we don't want anymore, so we're going to discard it to the ring build goals power, gaining us a point and drawing yet another card. So we're going to have a pretty good draw cards action. We might actually do that twice. I think we'll have the eggs to do it twice, potentially. Yes, because we have 3 eggs now. We're going to have to spend 1 to get the bird in here. So that means we have 2 more eggs to spend on this action. That could be the rest of our round. We're just kind of setting ourselves up for the second half of the game. I think one of the main things I'd like to do is hopefully find a cheap bird to pair with this red-eyed vireo that can go into the forests, improving the gain food action so that we can accelerate out and start playing. Sorry, I keep using that word today, but just so we can gain food a lot more quickly to help play more expensive birds, possibly in the woods, possibly other things that help us work towards these goals here. Yeah, so we have a pretty linear game plan for the next little while. We're just hoping that it's better than our opponent's linear game plan. We don't really have the luxury of pivoting from this path that we've gone down. You know, that's kind of that's why you spend so much of your first few turns of this game, even like the very even before turn 0, thinking about what your starting hand and resources are going to be like, because you need to make sure that they're all very you know, worthwhile.
Common yellowthroat. This was one of the first American birds to be cataloged by Linnaeus in 1766.
Let's listen to some bird sounds while we're waiting between turns, eh? Yeah, the art team for this game is fantastic. Honestly, I feel like the game doesn't quite do it justice. You have to really see the cards in person, and you'd be I think it's very impressive. In fact, the artists sell some full-size prints of a lot of these birds that they drew online. If you ever happen to be interested. So the draw display hasn't changed at all in these last few turns. So there's no real reason to draw cards right now, I don't think. Well, sorry. We're probably drawing cards, but I don't think we're interested in touching any of the ones down here. We would like to gain some eggs and start gaining food back since we're out of food, but we don't know what food types we need necessarily yet, other than maybe one berry or insect. So yeah, let's just start drawing cards. From the top of the deck. Looking for things. Boom. This is one of the things I was hoping to find. I knew there was an owl in this game. That's a 1-cost rodent that goes in the forest. So this, almost certainly we're keeping this to pair with our red-eyed vireo. So we could get a second bird in our forest nice and quick. It satisfies these two conditions. Perfect. Let's see what else we got. We got a tufted titmouse. Play another bird into the same habitat. We could do it again. It would have to be the forest habitat because of the requirement on the titmouse. It's not super good. Spotted Towie. When activated, gain 1 from the supply. That would have been much more useful in the early game. Still not bad though. We could put that in the grasslands area, so every time we gain eggs, we're gaining another food as well. He's not worth any points though, but he does provide 4 egg spots towards this goal, and just like towards both of these goals really, and towards the end of the game. So that's pretty good, I guess. We'll see what we draw from our common yellowthroat power next. Still looking for predatory birds if we can help it. That's not particularly useful. It's a decent number of points. No. And there's a good chance that power activates because people are going to play stuff into the grasslands before the end of the game to try to get that final goal. So there's a good chance that power activates several times. It's just not a very good power. Lay 1 on each of your birds with a cavity nest. Well, our barred owl has it, and all of our star nests count. So actually, the first time we play this, it could end up gaining us like 4 eggs. when we play these two plus this later, that's already 1, 2, 3, 4 eggs that it would lay. Yeah, possibly more. Alright, that might be worth keeping. Okay. Power didn't activate. Boo-hoo. So we were looking at this lark. Probably not something we're interested in playing. We might play this. It's iffy. I think we're gonna take this one away. Got a redraw. Play another bird in the same habitat, pay its normal cost. Mountain bluebird. A lot of egg spaces. Oh, we have to discard something now, though. That's right. We're running out of time. I don't want to time out again. What do we think? Do we think we're going to get enough value off of this spotted towhee to be worth it? It's not worth any points. That's like the big kicker. So it would have been more useful early game. We're about to get a better forest power to gain food anyways. We probably don't need to be gaining food when we're going to get eggs as well. Getting 2 food every time we go to... It does mean we might not even have to go to the forest after the first time we activate it. I don't know. It's tough. I think we'll throw you back, actually. This I could see being worth more points than it might seem at first. I'm really just interested in finding mice-eating birds if I can help it. Where are we at for these goals right now? So far, we're in the lead for birds in the wetland. None of those birds that we drew were like good wetland birds either. I might have considered keeping a cheap wetland bird if it meant possibly getting to play it, because we do have 2 actions left. So we could gain food with the egg action, gain enough eggs to pay for the cost of putting another bird here, and secure our lead. So we got yellow players only 1 bird behind, red players 2. I don't think we have enough time to do that now, though, because we didn't draw one, so... No way we have enough time to draw the bird we need. Because you don't draw cards at the beginning of each round like you do in some card games, right? In this game, drawing cards is an action. So we know that if we want to get another bird in the habitat, it's going to require a minimum of 2 actions. 1 to draw it and 1 to play it, but we don't have any food right now. So... we would need a 3rd action to play food, and frankly, we would need the eggs as well that we don't have. Now, we do have an action we can take, 1 action to get the eggs and potentially enough food that we need to play the bird, but then we don't have the bird. So we're locked in with just 3 birds in this habitat, so I don't think it's worth pursuing putting any more birds in this habitat necessarily for the rest of the game. We want to focus on getting them up here and a few more up here to help with our egg sets goal later in the game. Because this is 8 eggs already, so we want to try to match that for the other habitats. There's already 4 here. Barred Owl and Red-Eyed Vireo put us at 4 as well, so we need 4 more in each habitat, ideally, if we can help it. Especially the middle one, because that's the one that lets us lay eggs the fastest. That's kind of why I kept this ash-throated flycatcher. It's expensive, but it'll let us play another bird for 1 action. But this might be a game where we try to accelerate out multiple birds over a couple of turns, where we play a bunch of birds out in the forest, make that action really worthwhile, and then go from there. So I think with that in mind, what we're going to do for the next few turns, we're just going to lay I think our last 2 turns for this round are going to lay eggs, gain the 2 food we need to play these 2 birds. Actually, now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure you can chain these, right? I can go Red-Eyed Vireo into Tufted Titmouse into Barred Owl. I think that's what we're going to do. So we're going to gain... We need 3 food over the course of the next few rounds to be able to do that. So we definitely need a mouse, so we'll just take the mouse to start. So yeah, so our first play on the next turn is going to be probably gain food, gaining a third food, and we should have plenty of eggs to, with one action, we'll be able to play 3 birds into our forest habitat. What they will be is a question. I could actually also go spotted Towie. I could go 1, 2, Towie here, so that every time we gain food, we're actually gaining 3 because of its power. Funny thing is we don't need the seeds, but food is food. We could probably find a use for it. And one thing to keep in mind with this game is that every any two food can be discarded for 1. So if you're paying, you know, even if we don't end up needing that seed plus another food item that we also don't need, we can turn it into anything we want. Possibly a rodent to pay for another one of our buddies over here. The other great thing about laying all these eggs and gaining all this food at the same time is that we can then discard the extra eggs to draw more cards, again hoping to find more and more predatory birds. I think that's our main thing. We might forego that original play that I was talking about with the spotted Towie. Alright, and I think that's our round. Peter over here only has 1 more action, so they're not in contention for the round 2 goal, not first place anyway. We'll see if our Puffin player is going to try to tie us. They definitely have the food and the eggs to do it, so we'll see if they elect to do so. Wouldn't be surprised to see them play a pretty expensive bird into the wetlands, considering they've been gaining a lot of food and eggs with this common raven power. So good chance we don't get first place, sole first place for this round 2 goal. I'm pretty sure. I'd be surprised anyway if yellow player didn't force a tie. But that does mean we at least get 3 points for our effort. And it wasn't really much effort. We wanted to play those birds in the wetlands anyway, pretty much, because they provided us with a pretty good draw engine. But hey, if they give us first place as well, that's great. If we end up getting the 5 points. For a second, I thought this said Western Teenager. I was like, what are you doing in my bird game? Get out of here. Damn teenagers. Well, looks like our red player drew some cards. Oh wow, and it looks like our yellow player is doing that as well. So what did they draw? What was there that they drew? I wonder if it keeps track of that and I can check. What was so valuable for them to just give us first place in round 2? Maybe they just didn't have any more wetland bird in hand. That could be possible. Or the graphic or the display is bugging out a bit and... Well, let's see what's in there. Yeah, it looks like they're like in the middle of this power. Yep, alright, we got first place again. So that's nice. Nice start for us then, the first half of this game. So what do we have in the thing? Well, this is great. Look at what we see immediately. 2 birds that satisfy these goals of ours. So I think we're definitely drawing, and they're both pretty cheap to play as well. So I think I definitely want to grab both of those. Oh wait, they're both really small predators. Look, they're only they don't satisfy the 65 centimeter thing. Do you even? Yeah, you do. Okay. It still might be worth getting them because they're pretty cheap to play, and each one will be worth an additional 2 points because of this card. So this to be a 7-pointer for 2 resource and this to be a 6-pointer for 1 is pretty good. Yeah, we'll see if those are still around when it comes to our turn, and we'll think about drawing them. At least the Eastern Screech Owl, because like I said, one bird for 6 points is pretty nice. It's too bad that they're tiny little predators, though. They don't satisfy the large bird goal as well, so we might not have time to play them then. Because we really, and we're already filling up our habitat, our bird sanctuary here quite a bit, because this play is going to take up 3 more spaces. So I need room for the rest of them. How many do I need to get max points from this? 6? So we already have 1, 2, 3, and we're about to play a 4th. So we just need 2 more. We'll see. When we eventually get around to drawing cards, if these are still around, we'll consider drawing them if our other options aren't very good. I think for now, first order of business, we're just gonna, again, lay 3 eggs, discarding one of them for food via the American Crow's power. And then get the 3 food we need to chain these 3 cards together. And now we have a really, really good food action. We can then draw cards the next turn, and any extras we don't need, we can turn them into more food because our power will have gone up to this point. And I think that's pretty good. And I think from that point on, our goals for the rest of the game are trying to find big rodent-eating birds to play into our grasslands, and then start laying eggs like crazy on the cards we need to get these goals. Okay, looks like one of our opponents drew the owl, so they took that option away from us. I don't think we want the kestrel then, so I think we're just going to be drawing blind when it comes to our turn, but we'll see. The display could still change yet again when we get there. I suppose I should be doing this a little bit more efficiently. We should be maximizing birds with this thing. So we got 2, 4, 6 already. Our opponents played a fish crow recently. This is a similar effect to our American Crow. They just have a little bit different stats. Ours was more efficient, only cost 1 food of our choice. Theirs cost 1 food of their choice plus a fish, but theirs is worth 2 more points than ours. So, it's gonna cost us the 3 food plus 2 eggs to play the bird where we need to. That's not hard for us to achieve at all. So yeah, next turn we're definitely going to fill our forest habitat. Just get that out of the way in case the bird feeder gets set up in such a way that we'd want to take a food action before we draw cards. It's unlikely, but it's possible. So I think our next 2 actions are definitely play birds into forest, draw cards, and from there we'll decide what to do with our final 3 actions for this round. Hoping to just find more large birds that prey on rodents, pretty much. I think that's our goal for this game. We're trying to maximize our secret goal cards and also the end of round goals. We're already off to a great start. Got first place in 2 of them. We're well on our way for first place in the second. This opponent only has 3 egg slots to work towards that, so they're not well set up to contest us there. This opponent only has 2 slots, so they can't contest us there, but the rounds, the round is still young. They could find the cards they need to do that. Looks like our Puffin players electing to draw a lot of bonus cards. So their goal is to just try to maximize bonus gold points. The trouble with that is they need to either get lucky and find cards that work well with each other, such that one bird can satisfy 2 or more, and they don't have a good draw engine help find that. So I think they're kind of leaning on good draws here to help them do these. But sometimes, you know what, just even getting the minimum bonus on a lot of these cards can be enough, especially if the cards themselves that you played to find them helps towards that. So we'll see if that strategy works out for them. They have a really powerful engine in the Common Raven. The Common Raven is kind of a well-established powerhouse of this game. So if they do find the birds that they need, they'll certainly be able to play them with this on the board. So that's kind of scary. Definitely got to worry about that a little bit. Well, I still like our position though. The thing that might get us is if we fail to find birds that satisfy these goals, or consolation prizes in the form of just really, really high point value birds. Because if we end up going to great lengths to try to find the birds that we need to fill this out, and we end up missing, that might get us. And if we don't even find birds that are themselves individually worth a lot of points, then there's probably no chance that we can win. But I don't know. We have after all.
Red-eyed vireo. Nearsighted vireos flock with other birds that make noise if predators are around. Tufted titmouse. Titmice are key in the formation of mixed species flocks. Barred owl. The barred owl's haunting call sounds like, "Who cooks for you?"
Owl. You can't see it on the stream because I don't have the overlay enabled for Steam during stream, but I just got an achievement called Owl of Nowhere. What is? Hold on. I'm gonna look at Steam and see what that achievement is. Owl of a sudden. Play 3 or more birds in a single turn. That's how I got that achievement. It's kind of funny that the achievement's called Owl of a Sudden, and we ended that that action with an owl to get that achievement. Thanks a lot, Raj. I appreciate you stopping by. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and hope to see you next time. My stream schedule is gonna change in the next little bit. I can't give too many details yet because I'm not 100% certain how things are gonna shake out, but I'm hoping that it will result in more stream time, more streams, and therefore more YouTube content as well. In fact, it should almost certainly lead to more stream, more content. So, but I'll have more details for that in the future. You can either check the schedule. I'll update my schedule section on the below the stream shortly once I know more, and then yeah. Okay, what did we say was our next action? Drawing cards, hoping to find things that, ooh, well there we go. Bit turn. Eats mice, is big. That's pretty much all we can ask for, right? When activated, players with the fewest water birds draw a card. Well that's, so we're never activating this power. But it's a 7-pointer. That's, well it's actually a 9-pointer for us. And depending on how far away we are from this goal, possibly worth more. In fact, how far are we away from this goal? We have 1, 2, 3, 4 birds here. So a 5th bird doesn't change anything, but it puts us in striking range to get an additional 3 points. And again, the bird itself is worth 9. It's probably worth taking. So we'll start with this. We'll see what we draw for our first few actions. Just go ahead and do this. We got another when played thing. Probably not going to play it though. Yeah, I don't think we're interested in any of those, to be honest. Draw 2 more. Discard an egg to draw 2 cards. Goes in the wetlands. Is a star nest. That's not awful. Yeah, it's kind of rough. We haven't drawn anything that really helps us. So I guess we're taking that bit turn and then, hey? 3 dice to roll, not in the bird feeder. Come on, fish. No fish. We're almost certainly not playing that king bird. Probably not playing most of these, honestly. This vulture is free, but it's only worth 2 points, but still free is free. Well, it's not free, right? It still takes an action. But yeah, we're probably not doing that. So we're gonna take the bit turn then. Now we have to discard a card. This Wren is just not worth it at this point. We don't need its power is not worthwhile. It's not worth the points and the action to do it. So goodbye. Poor Kestrel's still sitting there. Sorry, Kestrel, you're just not big enough. This bit turn will be kind of expensive. It is 3 food. But we can get 3 food with 1 action because we have so many cards in hand now that we don't really care about. So this food action is actually really profitable. So 1 action, we can get the food we need. Then we just need to spend 2 eggs, which we already have, on it. So we're definitely going to be looking to play this bird before the end of the game, I think. But I think for now, what we might want to do is just keep an eye on our opponents and see how close they are to getting this goal. Because if they are getting close, we may end up playing the Spotted Towie after all. Just to have the capacity to be able to beat our opponents in that goal. Not sure if it's worth a bird slot even still though, because it is worth 0 points. The when activated ability, it's okay because I would put it in the grasslands probably, and we are gonna get to the point where we're just gonna want to keep hammering the grasslands. The grasslands action, which means we'll get 2 food every time we do, in addition to the eggs. So that could be a reason why we're kind of interested in doing that. Be curious to see if this ash-throated flycatcher will end up being worth playing in this game. As of now, it's gonna lay 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 eggs when it comes into play, so it's essentially worth 9 points on its own. And considering that we want sets of eggs in places, it's actually pretty good. We might end up playing this. It's kind of expensive again, because, you know, we only have so many actions left in this game. Even though we can get a lot of food per action, it's still quite expensive. I don't know that we can afford drawing cards yet again. We might draw cards one more time at the start of round 4. After this display resets yet again, just so we could see a little bit deeper into the deck. Maybe we give it one last shot to try to find large rodent-eating birds, but at this point I'm just going to settle for, well, any big bird. Franklin's Gull satisfies this, so it could be worth just playing out Franklin's Gull. That's actually kind of an interesting idea. We could play Franklin's Gull into the grasslands habitat and start discarding eggs to draw cards. So while we're gaining the eggs we need to win these next 2 rounds, we could be churning through the deck a little bit more, trying to find other birds that help us get towards our goal. And it helps us with this one all the while, which is nice. It would be the 6th bird we need then, right? If we're committed to this American bit turn, it would be the 6th, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, yep, 5, 6. So we'd get 6 points for this. Okay, that's worth considering. Definitely worth considering. So with that in mind, what is our first order of business? Well, we probably want to start gaining the food we need here, huh? And what we get could depend on what we see our opponents doing. So how close... So our opponents played... So now this opponent can get up to 5 eggs of the nest type necessary. This opponent's still only on 3 and only has 2 actions left. We get a maximum of 6. They're 3, they're 5. And we're sitting pretty comfortably at... Oh, we're more than 6 actually. We have a second one here. 2, 4, 6, 8. We're at 8. So I don't know that we have to worry about playing this spotted Towie. So let's try to work towards this bit turn then, huh? We can get the mouse that we need. We don't get the... How do you activate? Look at a card from the deck? Okay, that's not bad. I guess we can get the berry next in case we want to play another double playing card. Not you, the other one. Oh wait, we discarded the other one, didn't we? Well, we want to play you at some point probably. And then we can re-roll the... We can re-roll the die, hoping to find the fish. But if all else fails, we might end up going with the spotted Towie. I think that's what we want to do, or do we want to wait one turn? We can just get food of our choice. We still need to lay quite a bit of eggs to make sure we achieve this goal. So maybe we just lay more eggs this... But if we're going to do that, it might be worth playing the Towie or playing something else like you, for example, and then start laying even more eggs, gaining more food or gaining more food. All right, well, let's start with this. Let's get these two. We're definitely gonna discard a card. Probably. Ooh, no, we don't want to discard you. What are you doing, game? What are you doing? How do you? Okay, there we go. For some reason, it's like automatically picking the first card in here. There we go. So now I'll re-roll the bird feeder. Didn't get the fish. We got an insect though. We'll take this one since it takes an option away from our opponents. There we go. Look at a card from the deck. Okay, now our owl is activating. Our owl caught a puffin. It's not looking good for our puffin player. That's foreshadowing right there. We're coming for you, puffin. See what our game looks like right now. Right now we're actually at a 50 point. We are at 50 points, which is not bad considering we got a whole round to go still and part of this round. I'm not sure. Does this take into consideration endgame goals? It doesn't. So if we get first place, we're actually at 56, which is nice. Yeah. Our next, we are at how many? We at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. We might. So we can't. Even if we played this spotted Towie, we cannot fill the egg slots anyway. So, still kind of want more birds that have high nest capacities in the wetland or in the grasslands though. But I think this ash-throated flycatcher is going to be our sort of ace in the hole there. We have to make sure to set up that this lays us maximum eggs. So when we're spending eggs to play it, we're going to make sure to take, an egg away from this section here. Yeah, I think to play it safe, we're going to need to make our next two actions. Our next action is almost certainly going to be lay eggs, gain a food. And then we might do it again, making sure that we have maximum 8 eggs in ground nest type spots. And remember that star nests count as all nest types, so this is working towards that goal. That's why we're at 4 here. We're gonna put 2. So every time we activate this action, if we're interested in discarding an egg to the crow to get food, which we are, we net 2 eggs. So for our next 2 actions this round, we're gonna net 2 eggs that are gonna go here and here, maximize our chances of getting this this goal while also gaining food. And then I think we're well set up to go into the final round then. I don't know that we're going to end up playing this gull. It might be worth it because he's still worth 6 points essentially with this. Unless we find a better bird to play along with our American bit turn that can work towards this rodentologist goal. And then hopefully then whatever that bird is will end up being worth 5 more points. Be nice if we could find another kind of barred owl type card. It's a very cheap rodent-eating predator that has a decent wingspan. Now, I think there's another such card like that in the deck, so hopefully we can find it. Or find something similar. Anything that costs 2 food or less, I'd be interested in. I think we really have to try. We got to be careful. We really want to try to play this. This guy is going to be very helpful for our game plan. We want this one because it's worth a lot of points. But I don't know if we have time to play a third bird on top of that in our final round. We only have 5 actions in the final round. We need to play 2 of those actions already are going to be, yeah, so they're laying eggs, trying to get these goals here. But, yeah, Genesis timer. Where is he at here? So there. their final action could be to lay another 3 eggs. They can go 1, 2, put the third somewhere else, which I'll probably discard to this raven, so they can get to 5. They can get to 5 maximum. They don't have enough actions to beat us even at 6. So it's a good chance we only need to lay eggs 1 more time this round, and our final action could be something else to help set us up in the final round. So actually we're in a pretty good position here then. We guaranteed have this goal. They can't do anything else to stop it. So 2, 4, 6. Yeah, the max that any player can get is 5. So I'm comfortable discarding this card to gain a food. We'll gain the fish we're missing for our bit turn. We'll see what our opponents do. So if that's the case, if we end up not needing to lay eggs this round, that bird feeder is looking quite tempting actually, because of the food types we're going to need to play that egg laying machine. I didn't take note of its name. The ash-throated flycatcher, that's right. So we can gain the food we need from that, potentially. And then our first 2 actions in our final round are going to be to play those 2 birds, and then we just hit the lay eggs action the next 3 actions. It does mean we're not going to get a 6th bird to maximize that large bird goal, but I think we're going to net more points overall by ignoring that. There's a potential that depending on where we sit in our final action for that round, that we can just play it out. Because we could end up being so far ahead of our opponents that we don't need to create many more sets of eggs to get that final goal. But at the same time, you have to wonder then, are we going to get as many points playing that bird out as we would just laying some more eggs? And the answer could be no, depending on how quickly we can fill the spots. But we'll see. But I do think that the Bittern and the ash-throated flycatcher are must-plays. They both represent approximately 9 points by themselves. So 9 points for 2 actions I think is very much worth it, even though obviously, we have to gain food with several of the other actions. Actually, that might be it. Because we're gaining eggs and food from that lay eggs action anyway, we might not need to hammer the gain food action from the forest. We might end up it might end up being worthwhile just to slowly build up the food that we're missing for the ash-throated flycatcher via that action first. But it could also be worthwhile getting it into this area first as well. But we don't want to spend food for extra eggs quite yet anyway, so maybe that's not necessary. So we'll see. We'll see what our opponents do. Good chance we're not going to lay eggs though this final round. Still going. We're going into the final round soon, and we're off to a really good start. I think we're in the lead right now. Yep, so opponents have no actions left, and we're in first place for the round 3 goal. So we don't need to lay eggs. I think I want to play the Bittern, which means that in the second round, what's going to happen? We're going to be 2 food. Specifically, we're 2 insects off of playing the ash-throated flycatcher. So the first 2 actions that we spend for this are going to be netting us 2 food and 4 eggs. one of which is going to go here. We're going to make sure that we clear as many egg spots as possible for this asteroid flycatcher, maximize its enter plays effect. And then we might just continue just laying eggs the rest of the game. There's a possibility we can get enough. We can math it out. We can see if it's worthwhile to continue to gain some food, because we just might not have the egg slots. Gain a little bit of food for the Franklin's Gull all the while, and then get additional. It plus this will be worth 6 points, but you gotta factor in the fact that we be spending 2 eggs to play it at that point. So it's -2, so it's only worth 4, and then we're not playing a lay egg action, so it just might not end up being worth it. So we'll see. I think we're definitely doing this for our final. Right. We only have so many eggs on these spots, but look at our opponents only have 2 towards this goal. So even if we spend 2 eggs from these cards that we need to get this goal, we still get it. So I think it's still worth doing. I'm gonna spread it out because the ash-throated flycatcher will bring both those eggs back.
American bittern. Bitterns hide in reeds and cattails where they are well camouflaged.
Well, speaking of big rodent-eating birds that we've been looking for all game, the big boy of them all, the bald eagle's shown up, but a bit too late at this point, I think. I don't think we can afford trying to get that amount of food, and then the 2 eggs we'd need to put it in that habitat. This was barely worth playing, to be honest. That's not true. It's probably almost certainly worth it. But so we have 5 actions this round. I think we're gonna go. Our first 2 are gonna be lay eggs, gain 2 food. Action 3 is gonna be play ash-throated flycatcher. And then I think actions 4 and 5 are probably just laying more eggs. So we're gonna play you. Okay, so we want to make sure there's space on this, all 4 of these birds. So we can fill up the spots, the rest of the spots though. Coming up to the end, though. We got off to a little bit of a slow start because our first game we timed out weirdly. We had a little bit of a timeout bug, I think. We've gotten into this game, and the final rounds in this game tend to go pretty quickly. By the time you get to round 5, you should have a very clear picture of what your final 5 actions are going to be. So we unfortunately didn't get to maximize our secret goals, but we did very well with the end game, with the end of round goals, and if we can get first place in this final one as well, I think we're in contention for first place. It will really depend on what secret goals our opponents end up finding, because this player got a bunch. It's a question of, did they find enough to... did the birds that they end up playing help towards, enough of these to maximize those points? Our other player didn't find much. They could have a lot of points that I haven't been noticing, though. They don't really have any point engines. They've been caching a lot of food on this card. I don't see any tucked cards, so they don't have a lot going there. No tucked cards or points here, so it's gonna really come down to secret goals and round goals, I think, for this game. This player has a pretty good, like we said when we saw them play down this common raven, they were gonna have a very good game where they were gonna gain a lot of food and a lot of eggs to let themselves play big expensive birds, so they're gonna have pretty good points just from the birds. And if they also got birds that help towards all like multiples of these goals, they could beat us in that way as well. It's only fair. We beat we got a landslide victory last week off the back of this common raven, so it's only fair that one of our opponents gets to do the same to us. Our birds are worth quite a bit of points as well, though, I have to say. I think we did well getting very worthwhile birds, and I think we're going to do well to get a lot of eggs on our birds as well. This player's currently got 0 eggs on birds, so if they want to play any more, they're going to have to spend a little bit of time doing that. This player doesn't have a ton going on themselves. Oop. There we go. Oh no, they got a decent amount of eggs, and these two are nice, are chunky. So they're also got some decent points going on. A little bit of cash food. Will depend on their bonus actions as well, if they got to fulfill them better than we did. But we'll see. We'll see if our opponents spent a lot of time finding, you know, expensive birds, cashing some points, getting secret goals. We spent a lot of time getting the public goals, and quite easily, I think, considering that I think our birds, our habitat's actually pretty good as well. We have decent point value birds. We're about to get a lot of eggs. It's gonna be good. Welcome back, your boy Raji. Hope your stream went well. What were you playing? Were you doing some cards? Or do you stream something else? Sorry, I was in the middle of a rant there. I did see your message. I just was ranting about our chances to win this game. If I had to guess, I think it's going to be between us and the yellow player. I think we're probably in a better position than red player. I could be mistaken though. It's really going to come down to did our end of round goals beat this player's secret goals? So how lucky did they get with their goals, and did they match? Did they synergize well with what they were playing, you know, to get there? Cool. Draft or constructed? Okay, draft. Yep. Nice. Yeah, I think maybe the next time I play cards, maybe I do light some of my draft tickets on fire, since I have so many. This would have been a great card to see earlier in the game. We would have definitely liked to have played this in our grasslands. It's a rodent eater that's also large wingspan. But at this point, it's just not worth the number of actions it's going to take to do it. We need to draw it, play it, also get the food to do it as well. If we could do that all in the same action, maybe it would have been worth it. Like if this Franklin's goal was already in our grasslands, maybe we could gain food, draw the cards while we're doing that, and then play the hawk as well at some point. I don't think it's going to be worth trying to force that. Could, on our turn, lay eggs, get the final food we're missing, then the following turn play this, lay more eggs, draw, do it again. Choose a card. Wait. Oh no, we could have drawn the card. Our player's power, they gave us a power to do that. I still don't think it'll end up being worth it though. This display was up, so I was like, that's my only option? No, I think if I had gone, like, I could have clicked here. Okay, well, that's weird. Because, like, that notification box was covering this, but I'm pretty sure the power that the person activated would have let us Oh no, it wasn't an option. All players draw one from the deck specifically. So we did not have the option to grab that hawk with the player's power that they activated. Okay, let's head back to trying to figure out what we're doing here. I guess we're just getting the final insect we're missing from so we're gonna have a set on each of those. You know what? I need this view at this point. How many egg sets are we gonna try to get here? So I play one of the eggs here. We're gonna have 3 sets, which means I need here. We're gonna discard that one. There it is. Alright. Next action, spending the 1 fruit, 2 insect to play the ash-throated flycatcher. That's going to gain us. It lays eggs on every bird with this type of nest, including the star nest. So that's 1 for itself, 2, 3, 4, 5 eggs. So 1 action, essentially going to be worth 9 points. Plus it works well towards our this final round goal. And then we're going to spend at least 1 action laying eggs, maximizing our egg sets, probably 2. Because I don't think there's anything else we can really do. We have 3 actions. We're gonna play 1 bird with 1 of them, then we're gonna have 2 egg laying actions, let's say, to get the food, and then play another bird. But then we don't have the actions to do that. So I don't think it's possible for us to play, even if we wanted to, at best we could play a 1-cost bird, but none of them are worth it. So yeah, I think we're just playing this ash-throated flycatcher and then hitting the lay eggs action 2 more times, and we will decline to activate the American Crow because we do not need the food at that point. I just hope that our game plan worked out better than our opponent's game plans. Ideally, Peter over here is going to get 2nd place in the goals so that this player can get 3rd at best, because I think yellow players are our biggest competition, so I want to minimize I would want the amount of points they can get from this round to be minimized. At most, we can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sets. Is that true? It might actually be... yes. Because this ash-throated flycatcher has 4 egg spots. Combined with these 2 is 8. So 2, 5, 7. So 7 sets is the maximum we'll be able to get. And I think we'll be able to get there. We shall see. The power on this bird is going to help us immensely working towards that goal. As of right now, our point total currently sits at 69, which is pretty good considering we have a lot of actions left. It is counting our secret goals though, so we've only gotten 7 bonus points from our secret goals this game. Not great, but not the worst either. Would have been nice if we could have gotten 10, you know, with this large bird specialist. Or if we could have gotten 1 more rodentologist bird to max it. Have you played the board game version of this? Yes, and I own it. I own and have played the board game version of this game many times. I think I have about 30 games under my belt, at least 30, possibly more. Not a lot, but a fair amount. but full disclosure, I've been a tester, an internal tester for the digital version of Wingspan for a few months now. So pretty much as soon as that happened, I pretty much stopped playing. And then COVID happened, so pretty much all Wingspan games became digital at that point. So I probably have like 30 games, real life games played, and at least 20 digital games played. Alright, Flycatcher, I choose you. To discard one egg from a bird. It's probably the gull. Oop. Let's do this first.
Ash-throated flycatcher. These birds are adapted to dry places. They get all their water from their food.
So they're eating juicy fruits and insects then, that means. $77-point total after that one play, so that's really good. Our next two actions are gonna net us 6 points just in eggs. So we'll be at 83, and then hopefully that puts us in contention for the first place goal for this, so we'll get 90. A 90-point score is pretty decent. Pretty decent. So our first 3 eggs need to go to the wetlands because we have 4 up here and 6 up here, and we want to get as many sets as possible. So the first 3 are going to go down here, which will give us 3 more sets, and then the next 3 we'll do whatever we need to do to maximize it then. It should be, what's the math on this? 1, 2, 3, that'll be 5, and then it's probably 1 in each. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, maybe 5 sets is the most we can get. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. So it looks like 5 is about all we're gonna get, unfortunately. I was hoping we'd get the maximum 7, but maybe 5 is enough. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks like yellow player is currently set up to have a max 5 anyway, and they don't have a lot of eggs going right now, so they're probably not going to be able to do better than 5 this game. What about our boy, the red deer over here? Wow, the crown-headed crow, brown-headed cowbird, no eggs possible to lay on it, so that's not helping him. So his maximum is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2... Yeah, his maximum is 5 right now as well. He's well on his way with the eggs, though, so he could play another bird, lay eggs a couple more times and get there, but it's... Yeah, so maybe... But that still means that they're able to contest us, though. So we needed 6 to guarantee first place. They might be able to contest us with 5, which is not good. Really was hoping that we would get the maximum there. But we'll see. Maybe they have other things that they'd like to do more than try to tie with us for first place on these sets. In which case, yeah, he played a bird. They played birds their next two actions, so maybe they don't have the ability to do. Can we get 6? We should be able to get 6, right? This is 2, 4, 6. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we have 3 more, so we should be able to go 1, 2, 3 to get to 6. This person has no food, so they can only lay 3 eggs maximum. So they're not getting first place in this goal. In fact, they might not even get 3rd. which means they won't get the 3 point. I would have to assume their final action is worth the 6 points to them though. 3 eggs is worth 3 points by itself, and just guaranteeing themselves at least 3rd place with this goal means 1 action is worth 6. So I would have to assume they're gonna get 3 points for their, or 6 points for their final action. This person probably needs to lay eggs twice more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They could get 7 sets potentially. Oh no, they can't because they needed another goal. They need another bird here. They probably don't have the ability to do that. Not unless they... Nope, they don't have any food. So I was going to say they need to play a bird that also lays eggs when it comes into play, or like is somehow an egg-laying engine. Yeesh, I'm stumbling on my words here. I think though... Yeah, so we might have the guaranteed 7 points from this end of round goal after all. Which is a good thing, because that's kind of all we really have going for us at this point. I'm really scared of yellow players' bonus cards. They have a lot of them. I think they have 6. It's a lot of bonus cards. They also have a lot of birds that are worth a lot of points. So, it's what, 10, 20, 30, 41 points in birds I'm counting, if I'm doing my math correctly real quick. I think we have 38. Yeah, so it's not bad. We're close. We're up there, but so we have to hope that their bonus actions don't make up the deficit that they suffered by not getting good end of round goals. It's really good for us that both players were splitting them this whole time, rather than one player getting it all and being in contention. So we'll see. Because again, looks like we're getting another 7. And I think yellow is gonna get last in this one. So, which means red is getting, second, which is better for us, I think. Because I think our next, if we lose this game, it's probably gonna be the yellow players' bonus cards. So we want them to get the minimum amount of points. We'll see though. They could have. Okay, they decided to lay eggs. I'm assuming they made a set. They did. That's probably good for us. It means they didn't have anything better to do, like play a big nasty bird. You have how many sets? 1, 2. He has 3. So we have already won. We've already won the sets making goal, but we don't have anything else to really do with our actions other than lay eggs. So we may as well lay it for the points. We don't have the food to play anything. Even if I discarded an egg last turn, because I predicted that this would happen, we still wouldn't have enough food to play any significant birds. So, gonna do this. It shouldn't matter where we put these, but that should be the way to maximize the sets. Nice and clean looking. 6, 6, 6. He has he has one more action left. Cannot forget that. But the best they can do is 5, I think. It might actually only be 4. Yeah, they don't have enough eggs to lay. They can go 1, 2, 3. Yeah, they can get 4 sets. Nope. Maybe more, because they can discard the 1 food they have to get a 4th egg. 1, 2... 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope, still 4 sets is the best they can do. Unless one of these is a little egg-laying power, it is not. All right, we'll see if our goal to focus on the goals was good enough to win. In any case, I like this. I like the habitat we ended up going for here and ended up making. It was fun getting the triple bird play with these cards here and getting the achievement for it. I I think we worked well with the resources we had at our disposal. I think our draws, we drew a lot of cards off of our wetlands action here, and we didn't quite find the things we needed to truly maximize our secret goals. But I think we worked well with what we have, so I'm proud of our end game score, even if it didn't end up winning us the game. But we'll see. That's a lot of points from bonus cards. Our goals were better. Look at that, we got there. And wow, my prediction was way off. Red player actually taking second place here. I would have thought for sure they would have been third. But it looks like the yellow player's bonus card, they neglected so many other aspects of their so many, that's the button I'm looking for. So many other aspects of their habitat that it just wasn't able to make up the deficit. They had decent birds, really good endgame goal points, but obviously not so great end of round goals, because we were taking all those points. Their eggs were really, really low. Normally you want to, I feel like most games you should be getting a dozen points from eggs. Well, I shouldn't say that, but it's really easy to get points from eggs in this game in the final rounds when your actions, it just tends to be the most efficient action to take for gaining points. And the fact that they didn't, it's so low, and it wasn't because they like filled their habitat with really expensive birds. So I guess that's the reason. And there's just everything else, there's just nothing. So yeah, overall red player squeezing out just over yellow, because they just had the more balanced habitat, and us not too far ahead, but still got there, 10 more points over them. So yeah, good games. All right, that's gonna do it for me for today, guys. I think I've been playing this for about 2 hours. It's almost 3 o'clock. I think I'm gonna call it a stream. We'll see you guys next time. Like I said, schedule is gonna change. At the very least, I will not be streaming Monday, but a good chance we stream the rest of the week. Just more often. I gotta leave it at that until I get a clearer picture of how my schedule is gonna shape out going forward. I'm not gonna really know, but just expect no Monday stream, but definitely gonna be streaming some more next week. Do a mix of cards, Runeterra, maybe some more Wingspan, maybe something else. We'll see. So yeah, thanks everyone for stopping by and checking us out. If you missed any of this video or the deck we played for cards earlier today, I'm gonna upload those videos on YouTube. They'll be up later today. So with that, enjoy your weekend. We'll see you next time. Take care.